Hello everybody, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave. We're going to continue the series right now with episode 5, and we're going to take a little bit of a twist. We're going to do a little bit of a flashback before the end of episode 4. So we're going to reenact what happened during the time before our adventurers got to the noble's manor, and we're going to see, who was in there, what happened, what conversations, what happens. I know a little bit because I'm gonna set up the scene, but ultimately the dice decide. So I'm gonna be using a different rule set with this episode other than using Dungeon World. It's called Blades in the Dark by John Harper. So I'm gonna do my best to follow the rules along. Why I chose using Blades in the Dark is because it's about scoundrels doing heists, getting scores, trying to steal something, take over something, etc. It's more of the villain side of things in terms of this series. So we're going to play as the villains right now. So let me get my notes here. So we have a cutter, which is all the way to the back, that ogre, name of Diggory. Then we have a spider, which is the mini in the middle. His name is Ulrich. Then we have a whisper right in the front. Her name is Ayla. So we're also going to be using the 4 Against Darkness Guide to Dungeon and Room Building tables. So we'll see how that works out later on, right after this opening scene. So let's start with the scene now. These villains paid off somebody that works in a noble's manor to get information of. Now let's remember that in the ending of episode 4, that Calder spoke to Diggory. Now, if you remember, at the end of episode 4, Calder was talking to Diggory, the cutter, about where the noble's son is, and then we found out ultimately the noble's son was transformed or cursed into a dragon wormling with the nickname of Dragonfly. So Calder asked him, where is he? I just heard he was just here, and Diggory said that basically he's not here. And he won't, obviously he's not going to tell Calder. So they're here at the noble's manor to get Dragonfly. Now, will all of them make it out? I don't know. We really don't even know if Diggory made it out. I mean, he has to face Calder, and if you remember, the druid is in that room as well, Sinethel, with them. So they paid off a servant, and the servant laid out a quick map of the first floor of the noble's manor, which was built on a modified 4 Against Darkness rule set, and told them which doors are trapped, unlocked, or locked. Also, the servant told the villains that there are guards posted inside, and also a very powerful one is also in the manor as well as the dragon wormling, the noble family, and that there's guards posted on the outside perimeter, but that number always changes, so he doesn't know how many will be posted. He just knows it's between 1 and 4. So let's roll a d4 to see how many guards are posted on the outside perimeter. 2. There's 2 guards on the outside perimeter, so I'll just put them just basically like this. So one of the reasons why I like Blades in the Dark is that it uses progress clocks, all sorts of them. But with this one, I'm going to do a perimeter security danger alert clock, and there's 4 segments in the clock. When the segments fill up, the guards on the outside perimeter will alert the guards that are inside the manor. So our first move, I'm going to have the cutter, Diggory, the big ogre in the back. I'm going to have him climb to get a better advantage point over the guards. So let's see if he does that. We're going to roll. He has 2d6 on this, so hopefully he will be successful. So it's still sort of the same thing of Dungeon World, where you have success, partial success, and a failure. So hopefully we get a 4 or 5 or above, but I'm hoping for a 6 at least. So here we go. So he got a 4, so he got a partial success. So because this is right in the beginning, I don't want to do anything extra, no bonus dice or no devil's bargain or whatever else I could do. I'm just going to roll with it. So a partial success. Diggory does climb up the rooftop, but he slips and one of the tiles falls onto the ground, alerting the guards now. So the guards technically don't know he's here on the roof, They just know a tile fell off, and you know that's not that common, so they're investigating the tile. Right now, of course, Diggory's hiding in the rooftop as best he can, so they don't see him. So because of that little screw up, we're going to fill up 1 tick mark in the clock. But now the guards are alerted. Diggory's in a little bit of a bind right now because now the guards are looking in the direction of our 2 other villains, and these 2 other villains are, you know, they don't want to be seen, so they're not going to move right now. So instead of Diggory trying to, you know, throw the boulder at these guards or anything like that, he may miss, he may not. So these guards are looking towards the roof and towards the floor. So they're not really focusing around the corner. So what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to get Ayla to do a flashback. And Ayla says, okay, you know that prior to this event, I had a ghost follow me to this location. Maybe I could have the ghost appear in front of these guards and scare them off. So with this action, it's not particularly risky because they're not going to be moving. They're just going to hopefully wait on a ghost to show up and scare them. I'm going to set this at a complex action or unlikely. Ayla is not in control of this ghost. She didn't compel the ghost to do this. She just had a ghost follow her to this location. So it's going to be 1 stress for this. So I'm going to mark off 1 stress regardless if it works or not. So I'm going to mark off 1 stress. And so we're going to roll. So Ayla is going to do a flashback to the day prior where she tries to get a ghost to follow her to this location with compel. So we're going to roll 2d6 to see if her attunement with compel worked. And if so, the ghost is here, and most likely the ghost is going to scare those guards away. So this is important right now to work because they haven't gotten into the manor yet, and the guards are already kind of suspicious of what's going on. So I'm going to do a bonus die, push myself. That's going to add 2 more stress to that 1 stress. So she's already at 3 stress now. Let's see if the day before her special ability of compel did attune to a ghost. 2 6s. Critical success. Awesome. So the ghost shows up, and the 2 guards look at the ghost and are completely afraid that they drop their swords, their shields, and everything else, and just run. Any direction, it didn't matter, just running away from this location. That's all they really cared about. So they just ran away. They're gone. And now that there's no more guards, they can go straight to the front door. Diggory jumps down. They all go to the front of the door, one of the main doors, and the ghost just floats around. And now the front door is locked. It is not trapped, it is locked. So we can either wreck it with the cutter, but that's going to probably cause a lot of commotion. Then Ulrich, the spider, goes to the front of the door. He has a 2d6 on Tinker, so you can try to pick a lock with. So we're going to see, he's going to do 2d6. Hopefully that's a good roll. Let's take a look. 6. Awesome. Okay, the door opens. Nobody even notices they walked in, and the door opened easily. So the progress clock of perimeter security, we're done with that. So thankfully we didn't fill up all 4 quadrants. But now we're going to racing clock. So I have 8 segments on each. The PC, our playable characters, and then the Noble's team, the guards, etc. So the farther we get ahead, like progress, as the PC, as the playable characters, the more we fill up our clock. The more we screw up, the more the Noble's team fills up. So this is the Noble side. So the more we screw up, this fills up tick by tick, and if it fills up all the way, then the Noble family, the Wormling, everybody left. Everybody escaped, and we failed our mission. Or we got cornered, and now we have to fight our way through, etc. It's really bad news if that fills up all the way. Okay? We want this side to fill up as the villains. So this map here is a little modification from 4 Against Darkness. I've used them prior. with their guide to dungeon and room building table. So basically you roll a 2d6, this is a 34. So you look at their chart and you draw whatever 34 was, if it was a corridor or a room, and then you go to the table and fill up whatever side, if it was a room or a corridor, whatever that's going to be. Also, a little shout out to someone on Facebook. I'll put up their name up here and thank them for a great idea. I had a question on how can I build rooms, because this is really for Against Darkness dungeon. You know, this is not really for building a house or anything like that, or a mansion. So we had some rules on how you could build rooms. And basically how that goes is you roll a d20. If it's 1 to 8, it's a corridor. And if it's 9 to 20, it's a room. Now, whatever you rolled, so if, let's say it's a 17, that's 17, now it's a room. That's 17 squares. It's a pretty big room. Same thing for the corridor. Then if you roll for the exits on a d6, if it's a 1, there's 3 exits. If it's a 2 to 3, there's 2 exits. And if it's a 4 to 6, there's 1 exit. Then you roll the type of door. Now, this is the servant let us know what the type of doors would be. So if you roll a d6 again, 1 is trapped, 2 to 3 is locked, and 4 to 6 is unlocked. So I got lucky and I rolled a lot of 4 to 6. Or excuse me, the servant let us know there was a lot of unlocked doors. But regardless, when we get to those, we get to those. This first room right here, I rolled for an entrance for Against Darkness, and I rolled, I think this is number 1. So it kind of looks like almost half of a, what is this, octagon? Almost half of an octagon. Also, this is from Hero Quest. This is going to be used as a place marker because I can't fit everybody in all these corridors. So this is where our villains are right now, in this room. So they're off to the side, obviously, but they're right here right now. So the doors unlock. Now, I added some new rules to this. If I can find them. So much paperwork. Oh, yes, here we go. So when I roll on the guide to dungeon and room building table, so every time I go into a new room, now they rolled a critical success on this room, so I said there was nobody in there. It's clear shot. Nobody knew they were there. So in the room they're at now, there's nobody. And I think that's how 4 Against Darkness works. Anybody's watching from that group, let me know. But I think the entrance of your cave or your dungeon crawling, the entrance has nobody to fight, I think. So with this table, if you roll a room or corridor and the number corresponds to a treasure, a trap, empty, special feature, I do nothing. You just move forward. You progress. If the room or corridor is vermin, you roll a d4, and that number is the amount of guards that will be in that room. So you roll a d4. If I roll a 2, there's going to be 2 guards in that corridor or in that room. If the room corridor has weird monsters, you roll a d4. The amount rolled is the amount of wizards that are going to be in that room. So hopefully I have enough wizards, but there's going to be that much wizards are going to be in the room. So if I roll a 2 on a d4, there's 2 wizards in that room. If a room or corridor rolls on the boss table, then something really bad is going to show up. And I'm not going to say right now, but for the villain, something bad is going to show up. And then if they roll on the Dragon's Lair boss table, then really, really bad stuff is going to happen. So, but the Dragon's Lair, though, is going to be the location, wherever that gets rolled, is going to be the location of the nobles, family, etc., and whoever else is with them, protecting them. So with these U's, you can see all the U, the letter U all over. Those are unlocks. Those doors are unlocked. The T's are traps, and the L's are locked. So we're going to find out who's in this big room in here, this huge rectangular room. So we're going to go to our table. Let's see who's in there. A 6. Vermin. So that means that this room has D4 amount of guards. So let's roll a D4. One moment. 3. There's 3 guards in that room. Now at the moment, they haven't opened the door yet. Okay, so we know, the GM, me, and the player, and the editor, and everything else, we know that there's 3 guards in that room. Our villains don't know that there's 3 guards in that room. But they do know it's unlocked, so they know they don't have to tinker with the lock. And they know it's not trapped, so they don't have to worry about that because they have that map from the servant. And now to make it very interesting, before we get going, I was waiting on to see how many guards are in that one room so we could start our mission in this Noble's Manor. Hired a mercenary. If you've watched my intro episode, I'm doing this because my son pushed me to, and my son loves watching and helps me with the beginning scenes and sometimes helps me make it, but he loves watching. So, to make it a little more interesting for him as well, they hired a mercenary to help them. So these 3 people hired a mercenary. So they took some of the coins they were given and said, you know what, this is going to be a pretty complex job. We need some extra help. So who do they hire, you might ask? Well, they hired Rick Sanchez. Now, I do this a lot with my role-playing to make it a lot more fun. But when I do this, though, I don't, make the whole story about these cool people that I added in to the game. So what I do is I give them 3 special abilities, and that's all they can do. They really can't be attacked. Sometimes if I do the fate chart and I roll a exceptional yes, if the enemy wants to attack my special character, I just have the special character leave. It's over. You lost a special character on exceptional roll. But with this, with Blades in the Dark here, he's just going to use 3 special abilities. That's all he can do, and I've already written them down, but I won't say what they are till they happen. So let's continue with the role play now. Diggory, the cutter, says, "Oh, there you are, Rick. We could have used you outside. Whisper already had to use compel. And 3 stress. You better be worth all your money you've charged us." Now, I can do some impressions, like if you've seen, I think it's episode 2, I do Arnold Schwarzenegger. But if you do Rick Sanchez, and I've tried to practice, you could really hurt your voice. And I'm pretty sure the co-creator and the voice of Rick Sanchez mentioned that he did lose his voice, but that was with Adventure Time, not with Rick and Morty. But it was the same type of voice, crackling and everything. So anyways, Rick responds, "You gotta calm down. It's just, I'm a little drunk." "It's all right. I got my 3 moves. Don't worry about it." "All right, well, those 3 moves better work." So typically I use the fate chart from Mythic when I use special characters. Basically, the character is going to use their special move, roll on the fate chart. If it's a yes, it worked. If it's an exceptional yes, it really worked. If it's a no, it didn't work, but kind of did a little bit, but it might have affected your own players. And if it's exceptional no, I mean, it's within context. Whatever happened, it's going to happen really bad. But with this, I think Blades in the Dark has its own kind of fate chart. Yeah, fortune roll. So Blades in the Dark has a fortune roll. So I'm going to do 2d6 with every special moves. A 6 being a good result, critical, double 6 being exceptional, 4 to 5 mixed result, and a 1 to 3 bad result. All right, let's continue. So Rick is going to cast True Level. If you remember if you watch Rick and Morty, one of the episodes, Morty is trying to level the garage floor, and Rick says, "You can't level that." So he leveled it, and Morty had basically had spasms, and he just couldn't believe how level the world is. So he's going to cast that same spell on this room right here. We're going to move it over here now, so you know that Rick is going to open the door, and he's going to cast a spell on that floor to make it true level. And if it's successful, these guards are going to spasm, saying, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I've never been so level in my life." So let's see if he can cast a spell successfully, true level. Well, he got a 6. It knocked off one of the guards, but he got a 6. So we got a 6. So it's not an exceptional yes, but it did work. So he cast a spell on this room right now, and Ayla yells out at Rick, "Rick, you didn't do anything." And Rick looks at the team and goes, You think so?" And then you see all the guards falling on the floor. "Oh God, this is the most truest level floor I've ever had in my life. Oh, this is amazing. I can't handle it." And they're just rocking back and forth. "Oh, I love this. I love it." Why doesn't everybody play games like this, by the way? Why doesn't everybody play games? This is why I love solo play, okay? This is why. If I did this with a big group, they'd probably kick me out of the group. But anyways, let's keep going. So we'll just act like the guards are gone now because there's too many things on the board. But they're not gone. They're still in this room until they're helped, if they ever can be helped. Maybe if someone helps them, they'd probably spasm as well. But they're still in this room till maybe the end of time. Who knows? So now with our racing clock, we were successful with the guards that are perpetually in spasm because of the floor. So we're going to tick one off right here. So 7 more to go. So now they're in that room. Which room are they going to go next? I say we're going to go to this one, unlocked. They're all unlocked, but we're going to go to that one. Now it's a corridor. Let's see. Let's roll the dice and see what could be in this corridor. Maybe it's nothing. I hope so. Now on corridor, the 12 is empty. So now they're in this room, or excuse me, this hallway. So nobody's there. So now they got to go to the next one. It's trapped. So we're going to use Tinker with Spider. Here we go. Now Spider is right here. All right, guys. The map shows that this door is trapped. I'm going to use Tinker again to figure out if I can unlock this lock, okay? And then Diggory looks at Ulrich. Hurry up with that. This boulder's getting heavy. So he gets 2d6 on Tinker. Let's see what he gets. A 4. So that is a partial success. With the is it risky right now? I mean, nobody knows we're here. Yes, we're in the manor. We're in a corridor. You could see behind you. You can see in front of you. There's not much room. So nobody can be really hiding in a hallway. So would I put this at a risky or controlled? If it was going into a room, I would say it's risky. But since they have the map and they can see it's another small corridor next, I'm going to put this at controlled. So basically that means that a 4 or 5, withdraw or succeed with minor consequence. So what happens is Ulrich goes up to the lock. Okay, let me see this lock. Oh God, there's so much sweat in my eyes. Oh, my eyes are burning. And he drops the Tinker kit, the lockpick kit. And it makes a big sound, and he just looks around at his friends. Ulrich is just quivering like, oh God, what did I do? And Rick's like, just shut up and just open the door, right? And Ulrich is like, you're clear across the dry erase board. Shut up, Rick. Then Ayla just says, don't worry, I don't think anybody heard us. It seems like we're in a controlled situation right now for some reason. Okay, so anyways, the door opens and they get through. So let me move them forward. Now they're over here. But when they close the door back on them, the door seals itself. So that was part of that trap. So that's the minor consequence of it. So because of that screw up, especially sealing behind you, now you have to make a loud noise or something to break the door open from this way. The noble team gets a tick on their clock. So this next room, let's go see who's in this next room right now with the dungeon and room building table. Let's see, one moment. 6. 6 is Vermin. Vermin. D4, how many guards there are. So D4, how many guards in that room? 2. So there are 2 guards in that room right now. So I moved Rick over so now it doesn't look so confusing. So now we know, they don't know, that there are 2 guards in that room. The room is locked. You can see the L on the room door. But are we going to use Rick's? He has 2 more special moves. Okay, so what are we going to do with the next room? We'll find out on the next episode of Wilona's Cave. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed the modifications of some of the rules. Anyone from Blades in the Dark that really knows the system well, please leave comments and let me know what I did wrong, what I could do better. I'm very certain that I'm not getting it all correct, but I would like direction, please, because some of the rules are kind of, confusing a little bit. Rick has 2 more special moves. You'll know what those are later on. So please subscribe, share, like, comment. Let me know what you think. So happy gaming, everybody. Bye.